Hey y'all, it's me, Raven, and can I here to talk to y'all about what's been going on this year. It has taken me 9 months to make this video. I've recorded it, I've said it in my head a million times, but I didn't know how to talk about it, but I wanted to open up about my journey in hopes that I can help someone. So yeah, earlier this year in February, I'll say, found out I had ulcerative colitis. I'm gonna give y'all the real definition of it. But basically, my colon gets ulcers and it's inflamed. I end up with bloody diarrhea. TMI, I am so sorry. And it's really gross and tense and feel like you want to die. Let me give y'all the real definition though. Good old Google. It's an chronic a chronic inflammatory bowel disease that causes inflammation in the digestive tract. Usually just shows up in the colon and the rectum. So anyway, the way it happened is I ended up getting my second COVID vaccine because I was working in healthcare and I got my COVID vaccines like really early because I was exposed to COVID and some front lines. So I got my vaccine, and after I got the second one, I noticed, well, first of all, had a real bad stomach ache. Then I had sore throat, congestion, and a bad headache. So I took some days off of work, and I went back. I still wasn't feeling completely good. So I ended up going to urgent care. I'm like, hey, what's wrong? Like, oh, you have a sinus infection. I'm like, okay. So the next day, I go to the bathroom and I notice blood. And I'm like, what? Well, I'm not bleeding. But I'm like, Mom, all these antibiotics, maybe it'll pass. And it's just the medicine. So that went on for a couple of days. And it didn't. and then turned into diarrhea. So I made an appointment to go see my OB-GYN because I'm thinking it's down there, so maybe she knows what's wrong. And I went to her and she's like, I have no idea. You need to get colonoscopy. So we went through all the appointments and been, because COVID is extremely hard to get an appointment. So we she's like, set you an appointment, we'll figure out what's wrong. I'm like, okay. So I went to work, so I got called in when I was sick. And I went to work and it just got worse. I could not stay out the bathroom. I felt so gross. And I think I called my mom. No, I asked a nurse who worked at the facility I was at. I'm like, hey, I'm having this issue. Did you have any idea what it is? She's like, I don't. You need to go to the ER. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I asked my boss, could I leave early? And she's like, yeah, I'll cover it for you. So I go home and my parents drive me to the ER. And I'm getting in there and what happened? They're like, have you ever had colonoscopy? I'm like, no, we're trying to set up an appointment. And they're like, okay, well, you need to go get one because we don't know what's wrong, but we're going to diagnose it as a UTI. And I'm like, okay, but it's not a UTI, but whatever. So I go home, start taking prednisone. No, I started taking a couple antibiotics. Boom, the bleeding and the diarrhea kept getting worse. So the next week, my mom calls my regular doctor. He prescribed me prednisone. Prednisone is the most disgusting pill I have ever taken. Like, just leaves this gross taste in your mouth. Start taking prednisone. It didn't help. So I'm like, well, whatever it is, so clear up. So I continued working until Linda got sicker and sicker. And I would go to work, have to call my boss, hey, I need to go home. And finally we went back to the ER. And not this was 3 weeks later. from the first visit. And I know this story is all over the place, but it has been so hard to like talk about and just chaos. Well, anyway, we went back to the ER, and they're like, well, what medicines are you taking? And I take meloxicam because I have cerebral palsy and I have muscle spasms. I'm always in pain. He's like, you need to stop taking that. It causes internal bleeding. And why haven't you gotten a colonoscopy? Like, well, my appointment isn't till March. He's like, well, you need to get the colonoscopy. Like, no, duh. Yeah, I know that. So, they take me back into triage, I guess. And, they run some tests, then did an iron infusion. So I had lost so much blood, I was weak. And the iron infusion, and he comes in, he's like, that's all I can do unless you want me to do an ultrasound. By this time, my mom was in there. She was like, yeah, y'all need to figure out what's wrong with her. Because this is the second visit. And she's still not getting any better. So, they did an ultrasound. Yeah. And he came back and said, it's ulcerative colitis. So they put me on all these antibiotics and Pepsi and something else. I don't know. So I went home and I had saw my boss before I checked out, and I'm like, I don't think I'm coming to work. She was like, yeah, I know, it's 2:30, go home, call in, and we'll figure it out. So I called in, went to sleep, and started taking my medicine. Well, by this time, I couldn't eat, which I had to eat to take the medicine, but every time I tried to take it, I threw up, still had diarrhea. So I'm like, okay, what is wrong with me? How I get rid of this? I literally felt like I was dying. So that Monday came in, my mom called my gastroenterologist. One thing we thought was gonna be the gastro. And he was like, bring her to the hospital. I'm gonna admit her. Because I was just that sick. So we ended up going to the hospital in another city. We didn't go to the ER that we had been going to. We went to another one. And they brought me back in the hallway. and they did a stool test, and they did an ultrasound, and I forgot what he said was wrong with me, but he was like, I'm just gonna write your prescription and send you home. So I text my mom. I'm like, hey, I'm ready. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, they're sending me home. She's like, why are they not keeping you? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm ready. So they give me a plate, a dinner plate, and go out wait for my mom and dad to come back and get me. And we get home and I immediately started throwing up. So my mom, I think she made me some broth, chicken broth, I think. When I tell y'all, this whole situation was so fuzzy to me. So I ate that, I took some medicine, I went back and got back in bed. And I stayed in bed that next day, which was Tuesday, and that Wednesday, I got up throwing up again, and still with the diarrhea. So my mom told my dad, she was like, we're going back to that hospital, and they're gonna keep her. So we got up, got ready, they took me back. The ER people, like, what's wrong? I told them, I said, I'm really sick. I don't know what's going on, but I need help. So the doctor comes in when they took me back in triage again. And she was like, we're gonna admit you and get you on some liquids and get you some blood. I'm like, okay. Well, in that time, I had to go to the bathroom. By this point, it's so urgent that it's running, and I made a mess everywhere, and I just felt so disgusted, like, ugh. And they finally let my mom come back, and I hadn't told anyone in my family I was sick. So, she's like, you want me to tell them? I'm like, you tell my siblings. So she's like, Ray is in the hospital. We don't know what's wrong, but we'll keep y'all updated. So they kept on, the nurses kept on coming back doing all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're like, we don't have any rooms, but soon as we get one, we'll move you. So, I think I'm trying to go to sleep at like 10 that night. And woke back up and talking to my mom. The guy comes in at 4 saying, we got a room. Give us a few minutes. We'll be back to get you. And yeah, so 2 minutes turned into 4:30, and we are actually at the hospital. She gave birth to me yet, so I'm like, hey, I was born at 4:30. We met here like 28 years ago. She's like, we sure did. So I'm still trying to act funny and happy and silly. So they finally come and get us and take us up to my room. And the text came in and got me settled, and they started talking to me, and I'm like, I'm going home this weekend. I'm not going to be here long. But so I'm thinking, I'm in the hospital. They're going to get me back healthy like that. And they're like, yeah, okay, well, then you going home. I'm like, oh, yes, I am. So that was a Thursday. By that Monday, I was so exhausted, not them. So, they did my colonoscopy, and they confirmed it was ulcerative colitis. I'm trying so hard not to cry. And I'm just like, what is that? They're like, your colon is inflamed, and this is the worst case we've seen. And I'm like, did I get it from the vaccine? Like, how did this happen? And the doctor was like, I don't know. I can't say yes. I can't say no. This vaccine is so new, and I just don't know. So I'm like, okay. By this point, I had gotten so weak, I couldn't get out in the bed to use the bathroom. So they had me wearing a diaper, and someone had cleaned me, and I'm like, ew. I knew I was gonna cry. Making this video, I just knew it. And, yeah. So, for about a week, laying in bed, and I slept non-stop. And my doctor had told he wrote in my notes that whenever I decided to start eating, I could eat whenever I wanted. Well, they would bring me broth. I'm like, I don't want that. So the next Sunday after the first week, my sister stayed that Saturday night. So when they brought my breakfast that Sunday, I said, I'm hungry. She was like, you want? I'm like, yeah. So she fed me some cream of wheat. Yeah. And eggs and I was like, yay, she's eating because I hadn't ate. And then a few days later, they started me on Humira. I had to, Humira, first of all, is an injection. It's like an EpiPen, and they use it for ulcerative colitis, I think Crohn's, and arthritis, and psoriasis, and a bunch of more stuff. They started the medicine, the starting dose is 4 shots. So they gave me my shots, and that Friday, they let me come home. And yeah, that is my ulcerative colitis story. That's how they found out what was wrong with me. They said my case was the worst they had seen. And usually when people get to that point, they are doing surgery to remove the colon and giving you a, I'm going to try to say this word, coloscopy. How do I say this word? I don't know, but y'all, if you've ever heard of ulcerative colitis using the beds, I'm assuming. Like I said, I have never heard of it. I'm like, what is this? I've done a lot of research since March to just inform myself, but some ways more to learn, and there's no cure for it, but I have been in remission since March. It's now December, so I really am blessed. And at first, I was so mad about getting the vaccine because I thought, this is why I'm sick. But I talked to my doctor's nurse practitioner when they wanted me to get the booster, because if you have an autoimmune disease, you're immunocompromised, and if y'all know this and y'all like, why is she talking to me like I'm a dummy, it's because I didn't know, so I'm assuming a lot of people didn't know, because like, if it doesn't affect you, you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. So, my immune system is super weak. So, I asked my practitioner, I'm like, does he want me to get the booster? She's like, yeah, probably. I'm like, I really don't want to, because I think that's why I got sick. And she's like, I promise you, it's not, you have been sick a while. And I'm like, how do y'all know? And she's like, your colon was so inflamed that there's no way it could have done all that damage within a month. You've been sick for a while. The vaccine just made it go into a flare. But I don't think you would have gotten out of 2021 without a flare. So after she said that, I'm like, okay, maybe it's a good thing I got my vaccine, because I might not have a colon right now. So yeah, I just want to say that I'm so grateful that we finally found out what's wrong, and we were able to find something to keep me in remission. I've been in remission since March, and I basically eat what I want to. I don't eat oatmeal or drink coffee, because those were the two things I was eating before I knew I was sick, and they really did me in bad. So I'm kind of scared of them, and I try not to eat a whole bunch of dairy, but with this you just have to find your triggers and be careful. I mean, it's been a learning process and an adjustment, because even though I'm kind of reserved, I like to go out, I like to hang out with people, and I really have to be careful, because my immune system is so weak because of the medicine, because when you have an autoimmune disease, your immune system attacks like all the healthy tissue, and something has to go in, say, hey, stop, chill out, quit fighting. And when you tell it to stop fighting, it stops fighting, I think. But I am doing so much better, and I'm so thankful for my medical team, and I'm thankful for my family who's been there for me, my friends who I've been into and cried to, and I'm just so thankful that God, I believe in God, so I'm thankful that He spared me, and got me back healthy. So that is my ulcerative colitis story. Y'all have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.